Okay, now it should.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just give us a moment and we'll start. Hi, good evening, Phoenix family. I, on behalf of Phoenix, welcomes you to the Phoenix Town Hall, the first ever, which is set to change the way we connect, communicate with and communicate within our own organization. And today we embark on a journey to celebrate our most valuable asset, which is you, because you make the brand and you make the company. You are true ambassadors of Phoenix, and the Phoenix Town Hall is not just an event. It's an opportunity for us to forge stronger connections, listen to the insights of a leadership team, and strengthen the bond that make our organization a dynamic and vibrant community. And that's the whole purpose of doing these sessions, to bring leadership closer to you. Seek questions which you may have, and we have collected a lot of questions. We have more than 100+ questions, which we have shortlisted. We won't be able to answer all the questions, but we'll try our best to do the best from the questions which we have. And you get a lot of the questions have been weaved into the presentation which we have put together for you. So do listen carefully, and some questions will get answered as a part of presentation. And before we dive into the exciting agenda, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to each one of you for your active participation. We have more than 1,000+ logins, which you have seen on the screen, which I think is fabulous. We also received a fabulous response to questions, more than 100+. We have carefully structured this town hall for meaningful engagement. So we have our esteemed panelists here. And before we go there, I just want to share the format of the town hall. These town hall, the way we have programmed it is that we will have rotating panelists. So what you see today, we have panelists today. Whereas in the next one, which you'll have, you may have different set of people. So you get different perspectives from different leaders with actually varied experiences across the organization and outside. We also intend to do some fireside chats with the leaders, some leaders which will come in on a quarterly basis. And we'll do some fireside chats with them so that you get to know them better. And they can share their own experiences so that we can all learn from those valuable experiences they have. In today's session, you will gain insight into various aspects of a company's journey, from a unique business model to asset design to a mall business strategy, financial might and strength, and the heartbeat of Phoenix, our people, which is you. Towards the end, we will respond to some select questions as submitted by you. And that's how the structure is going to be going forward. So now let me introduce you to the individuals who will be sharing the valuable insight, as well as the entire leadership team which we have assembled here today. First of all, I'd like to introduce a very warm welcome to Mr. Atul Ruya, who's the chairman of the company. And he has graced this occasion today. Along with him, we have Shishir Srivastava, who is the managing director of the company and been with the company for the last 20+ years. We have Rajesh Kulkarni, who has built many of our lovely assets. And he's a group head of projects. Rashmi Sen, and she's leading our entire mall strategy, and she's the chief operating officer of malls. Anurag Srivastava, who's a group chief financial officer and leads all our financial decisions. Hardeep Dayal, who joined us recently, I would say. He joined with me. In fact, we both joined on 9/11, so we are 9/11 prodigies. And he's a chief operating officer and leads the entire commercial business. So these are going to be, so Hardeep is going to be, he'll come towards the end for the questions part. But we have Atul, Shishir, Rajesh, Rashmi, and Anurag, who will be part of presenting the presentations to you. So moving forward, we also have all the other leaders. We have Rajendra Kelkar, who's also here. Harish, who's been a group CHRO. We have Vidya, who leads a legal and is a general counsel for the company. We have Dipesh Gandhi. We have Raghav, who leads the entire residential business. We have Prashant Isar, who leads our newest baby, which is the F&B business, Bellona. Along with that, we also have Arun Parwal. We have Manish Singh. We have Neha from leasing. I'm Gajendra, who's been with the company for a long time, and he leads our South malls. Sanjay Chitika from Rajesh's team, Rajesh Patil. And moving on, we also joined by so by residential business, Sunena, Sanjay Vagaskar, Sanjeev Sareen, Vineet, and also Pallavi. And besides that, we also have folks from our very dear friends from our hotels. So we have Varun Chibber, who is the GM of St. Regis Hotel here. We also have Dominica, who leads the penthouse as the GM. And we have Dharam Mehta, who's a part of Hardeep's team and who joined us recently. And having said this, now we'd like to hand over the session to Shishir, who is the managing director of the company. Thank you for listening to me. And now I hand over to Shishir.
I think you're muted, Shishir.
Shishir, I think if you can unmute yourself.
Thank you for the introduction, Gautam. And a very, very warm welcome to the Phoenix family for our first ever town hall. It's an exciting initiative and we look forward to doing this frequently with the teams. While we will be talking about how we've come to be in the position where we are today, upfront, I'd like to thank everyone for their contributions in making our company one of the best in the industry. I'm going to roll back the years and talk about our humble beginnings that many of you may or may not be aware of. Our flagship property, Phoenix Palladium, Mumbai, it's a mixed-use development. We have a sizable retail which is expanding. We have India's best performing hotel as part of this development, and we're now building India's best office building here. But our humble journey started, I would say we have a legacy of more than 100 years, and we've come a long way in our journey from becoming the iconic mixed-use development of the country. I think I remember the time, the image that you see, second image from the left, 99 to 2000. I remember the time when we started converting parts of this location into experiential retail offerings. And at the turn of the century, our first ever retail operation was the bowling company and one of India's best nightclubs called Fire and Ice. I think this was a very exciting project that we worked on initially. And Atul would have some fond memories of half a kilometer long queues of people waiting to get into the nightclub in the night. And I think having a better understanding of the location and the consumer's needs, we worked closely with the Future Group and created one of their first large format grocery and hypermarket called Big Bazaar way back in 2001. And then with increasing confidence on this business model, we started expanding this location in parts. And between 2000 and 2010, we had developed probably about 7 lakh square feet here. Our biggest step into high-end organized retail was the launch of Palladium in 2009, 2010. And then, of course, we complemented this development with the luxury hotel currently branded as the St. Regis in 2012. With the evolution of this development, we kind of established a blueprint of creating these city center consumption hubs, which keep buzzing 24/7. Next. Sorry, just go back. It's very interesting that in 2000, we were about 100 employees, or maybe even lesser. We must have been about 70 odd employees in the company. In 2015, we were 600 plus, and now we are close to about 3,000 across Phoenix, hotels business, F&B, etc. So it's been quite an interesting 2 decades of growth for the company. Next. This is our blueprint of the future of mixed-use developments, and we are delivering this at our flagship location in Mumbai, Phoenix Palladium. We are going to be about a 1.4 million square feet retail by the time we complete the expansions. We're going to have about 1.3 million square feet of offices here. And of course, the iconic St. Regis Hotel, which is already operational. But this is the model that we set out to replicate across the country. Next. And between 2011 and 2013, we made operational 4 of our large mixed-use developments. Phoenix Market City, Mumbai at Kurla, which is about 1.2 million square feet of retail and 1.2 of offices. Phoenix Market City, Pune, 1.2 million square feet of retail today and about 880,000 square feet of offices. Phoenix Market City, Bangalore is currently 1 million square feet, and we are expanding this development by adding another 1 million of offices, a 400-key Grand Hyatt hotel, and expanding retail as well by another 250 to 300,000 square feet. Phoenix Market City, Chennai, which launched sometime in 2013, January 2013, is a 1 million square foot mall. We have Phoenix, we have the Palladium as part of this mixed use development as well, which is a little over 200,000 square feet. We built residences here and they've sold. I would say they were very well appreciated and accepted by the market and sold very early on. And we are also adding 500,000 square feet of offices at Chennai, which is currently under development. Next. So after getting all of these assets operational in between 2011 and 2013, I think the focus was on making them the most successful properties in India. And between 2013 and 2017, we focused on improving the performance of these assets and making them the best in the country. Between 2017 and 2021, we saw a lot of opportunities for growth. We established 2 significant partnerships, one with the government of Canada through their pension plan, CPP Investment Board, and the other with the government of Singapore through their international investment arm called GIC. And we raised capital and we deployed this capital for further growth. Next. And we took our model across different parts of the country. So we acquired a second land parcel in Bangalore, where we have now built Mall of Asia and soon to be operational Phoenix Asia Towers. We acquired the land for our second development in Pune at Wakad, where we now have operational Mall of the Millennium and Millennium Towers. Offices are under development. We bought a partly constructed mall in Indore, which is now operational, branded as Phoenix Citadel. We are also expanding, as I mentioned earlier, our flagship property with office and retail. And in the same partnership with CPPIB, we have another under development mall at Calcutta. Cumulatively, this partnership alone will have about 6 million square feet of retail leasable area, about 4 million square feet of offices, and a 400-room Grand Hyatt hotel. The second partnership that we have with GIC, next, comprises our existing malls, Phoenix Market City at Pune and Mumbai, and the office buildings in Mumbai. Plus, we have under development a mall in Surat. So cumulatively, this JV currently will, with Surat being delivered, will have a retail leasable area of about 3.3 million square feet and 1.5 million square feet of offices. Next. May I request Atul for you to share with us what was the vision for the malls of the future, how we went about delivering those?
Certainly. Thank you, Shishir. And thank you, Gautam, for organizing this town hall. I think it's a wonderful initiative. And actually, it's so easy and friendly to do this online. It's really remarkable. I mean, you don't need a ballroom, though it's would have been good to be all together in the St. Regis ballroom, but you don't need a ballroom and everybody can be at their own desk in their own city and we're all together. So a wonderful initiative. And I'm so happy to be able to address the entire Phoenix family collectively. So from my perspective, I just took the opportunity of speaking on these 4 or 5 slides at 4:20. Means I requested Gautam that I will speak on these 5 slides. And but as I just gave it a little thought, I said, I don't want to speak about square footage or lease rent or architecture or design. Today, I want to speak about the people that have been behind these projects. And so I'm happy to share my perspective from a people angle, because really it's all about people and people that have made this great company. Next slide. Yeah, so this mall, as you'll all know, is probably one of the most iconic structures of Lucknow. And the other most unique feature of this mall is the only mall in the world that was opened bang in the middle of the pandemic. It opened July 2020. So that's literally smack in the middle. And I have to say it's delivered exceptional performance. So I'll just talk a little bit about some anecdotes. My first vote from this amazing project goes to Sanjeev Sareen. I mean, he worked relentlessly on the auction, on building internal willingness to participate and to buy this fantastic site. So, and then once we had bought the site, it was brownfield. So I have to say that this was one of the greatest projects ever executed by any projects team anywhere in the world. I can put my hand on my heart and say that. Rajesh Kulkarni, Sanjay Chittekar, and the teams working with them on this project actually built this mall end to end in under 18 months. And at the same time, Rashmi and her team with Amit Arora, Neha and others, Neha Kapoor and others, actually leased this mall in that same time frame and also got all the retailers to move in and be ready to open the mall. We were actually ready to open the mall 4 months prior to the date it opened. But we pulled the plug on the very last day and said, no, let's wait for till this first wave gets over. And that's how the mall opened in July, in around July, if I got the date right. And 3 cheers to everyone involved in this project. It's a real landmark. And now, of course, the operations team, who are doing a wonderful job. The mall had its highest sales ever last November, which was north of 110 or 20 crores, if I remember correctly. So what a great effort. Should we go to the next? Here is another example of remarkable teamwork. We built this mall in Indore. It's called Phoenix Citadel. You can see from the image, it's really something dramatic. It's on the main bypass road, and actually there's a road called MR10, which was conceived 20 years ago and is just getting executed as we speak. The work started a few months ago. Once again, fantastic. So this mall has I'll share a little anecdote with you all. Rashmi Sen was earlier leasing this mall for entertainment world developers through Phoenix. Phoenix was the leasing support that Phoenix was a investor into entertainment world, and Rashmi was involved with leasing this mall. And then the company entertainment developer went bankrupt. 10 years later, we were able to acquire the same site through a auction. And this then went, after acquisition, our team of architects at that time, Sachin Patkar was working under Rajesh Kulkarni, did an incredible job. One of the most exceptional features of this mall that Rajesh and his team were able to achieve was that it's now 10 lakh square feet, 1 million plus square feet, but only across 3 levels. So it's almost a 3.5 lakh square feet per floor. And apart from being my personal favorite as one of the most amazing malls, it's also got the largest footplate across any of our assets. This mall also introduced some of these amazing features like this huge waterfall, or what you call water fountain right in the very front. Amazing landscape gardens as you arrive. So it's got a majestic arrival experience. The photo doesn't do justice to the landscape, the angle, etc. But the landscape is gorgeous, and I would sincerely say this is one of the most majestic malls we have ever built. And then back again to the teams that have been operating the mall, leasing the mall, raising money, finance for the mall, have really outdone themselves in what they've achieved. Next. This is Palladium Ahmedabad. A little anecdote about this site. We lost the auction. We didn't bid the highest in the auction. Someone else bought the site. That was a company by the name of B. Safal from Ahmedabad, and yet someone else bought another half of the site. After we missed the auction, we realized, Shishir and myself thought hard, and we said, no, we must see how to get back into this game. So we had a couple of interactions with Rajesh Brahmabhat, the owner, and we were able to jump in and become 50% partner with them. But once again, I would say this is our most, Manish Singh and his team have done an incredible job with leasing this mall. It has the best brand mix. When the mall, Smita, everyone, full credit to them. I cannot imagine Ahmedabad having a brand mix like this mall does. The only Zara in town, and maybe another 30 or 40 brands, which are the only brands. So again, remarkable effort from the team to deliver this fantastic project for us. I forgot to mention finance team's great efforts. We built all these malls without any debt. So Varun, Parval, Shishir, the legal team, we've raised enough capital in the midst of the difficult times of COVID, so that we could build all of this without any debt. And I think that is what is another feature that has made our balance sheet and our company so very, very strong. When we open each of these malls, we open from the first day as profitable assets. Next slide. Our fantastic Mall of the Millennium in Pune. Here again, I have to say, incredible teamwork starting from Dipesh Gandhi, our Chief Operations Officer, in identification of the site. He worked closely with Varun Parval. Remarkable effort. Great site, bought at a fantastic price. We had these incredible workshops in Atlanta, or rather in a small town outside Atlanta, and designed this, what we called the Mall of the Future. This is the mall that was our seed for our current program, with a fan park, water fountain, incredible Lux Atria, incredible arrival ramp leading to the second floor, MLCP offices. At that time, there was also intended a convention center, F&B, eclectic village, every kind of imaginable angle that was put together. Amazing job by the projects team. All of you all may or may not have seen this mall, but the quality and the finishes are so high, and it's such an exceptional mall. And I think from the day one, the footfall and traffic was remarkable. I think the last slide for me. is none other than Mall of Asia. I think this picture says it all. Pride of our portfolio. Truly, if it gets completed as originally intended with all the brands, I have no doubt this will be India's #1 mall. We also have these wonderful office buildings that are already completed. Here, I have to say full credit to the projects team. I mean, full credit to every team involved. But let me start by saying a fantastic land that Shishir and Raghav Bajoria, our South head, identified, acquired, all the planning approvals that went into it, conjunction with L&T, and then tremendous team under Sanjay Vagaskar. Vagaskar is another example of a boy in our team who has been promoted right from a assistant manager or a manager right up to the head of projects in Bangalore. So great effort. Smita, Manish, the whole team, Basil from the South team in their leasing efforts, Rushikesh in his architecture, working with Rajesh, the legal team under Vidyasagar with their issues, and finance team. Everyone has come together to build this mall, and once again with zero debt. Going to the next slide. Okay, so I leave this for Rashmi. We are building now a 1 million square feet mall in Alipur, which I'm very, very excited about. Again, a great acquisition under the leadership of finance team and Raghav. Next slide. Yeah, Shishir, would you like to take over?
Thank you for that, Atul. So this is just a snapshot of our mixed-use developments which were built in the first phase of expansion. The flagship at Lower Parel continues to grow. As I mentioned, we're going to see retail expand and this iconic office tower getting delivered in the next 3 years. We have expanded the Bangalore asset as well. We are now adding another 400-key hotel, 1.1 million square feet of offices and some more retail. Vimannagar, Pune is already densified. We've added 800,000 square feet of offices there. And we are looking at some amount of retail expansion. Phoenix Market City, Mumbai, we have completed the densification with the offices. And at Chennai, we are now building a 400,000 square feet office block and continue to densify that location. I think for the last few years, densification has become a very important theme for us because we are able to create more population within this captive consumption within this mixed-use development, and the addition of asset classes such as hotel and offices only uplifts that entire development and sets it up for the next 10 years. Next. So this is a quick snapshot of where we were 5 years ago, where we currently stand, which is in 2023, and where we are going to be 4 years from now. In 2018, we had set out a goal for ourselves that we are going to double our retail portfolio and quadruple our office portfolio. And I think we are well on track to deliver that. We had set out a 5-year program for us. So by 2023, all the promises that we made have been delivered. And with projects which are currently under development, in 2027, our retail portfolio is going to exceed 1.4 crore square feet. Our office portfolio is going to exceed 70 lakh square feet. We are going to add one more 5-star luxury hotel to our portfolio, taking it to a total of close to 1,000 keys. And we are adding world-class grade A residential developments. Currently, we have 4 million square feet built, delivered. We are adding another 1 million square feet going forward. Next, please. So pan-India footprint, we are across 7 states. And we continue to look for opportunities to grow our portfolio across these verticals. Next. A recent land buy, which was again led by Rajesh Patil, and I would say strategic guidance from Dipesh, we were able to conclude this fantastic acquisition of about 11.5 acres at Thane in the last month. And we're currently working on what we're building out here. But cumulatively, we should be able to develop FSI of more than 30 lakh square feet here. The development mix we will unveil when we have finalized the plans. Next.
Shishir, am I audible?
Yes, you are, Atul.
I just want to come in here again, not on this slide, but just on the theme of what we've been discussing. I think what has been incredible for me in the last 20 years has been this one factor that we rarely hire at senior level from outside the organization. It has, of late, there have been a few hires, but that has not been our culture. I think our culture has been to promote aggressively, and even surprising promotions where people are not ready for these promotions. We would rather bet on our own person, or make him in a chair, put him in a chair, and watch him grow into the chair, rather than hiring someone from an external company. This has been one of our greatest reasons for our success. I mean, if I look at several of the names we've taken today, starting with Shishir, who's been, with the company for so many years. I think he started off, his origins were semi-project manager / chef / restaurant manager. And look at what he's achieved today. And I think there are many such illustrations. I took some names, Sanjay Vagaskar earlier, and different. Every single member of our team who has been part of this journey for the last 10-15 years has actually grown into the chair with the company. So I hope that culture we are able to continue. I just wanted to add that one, because that thought came to me, as I was seeing the presentation and saying these names. This thought came to me very loud and clear that I must share it with the team. Please continue, Shishir.
Thank you for that, Atul. It's interesting, Atul. I think if we look at the leadership team that Gautam showcased at the beginning of this presentation, barring very few leaders, everybody has been here for more than a decade. And another interesting number for all of us is that the average tenure in our leadership level is in excess of 7 years. And that hopefully will, continue to just increase. So coming back to the presentation, Thane is a checkbox. We have aspirations to be in these cities that are listed on the screen. And this is where our growth is going to be, or rather our business development efforts are going to be focused on. Next, we hope to build and deliver 1 million square feet of new retail every year. But as we are growing and we are building more and more, I think for us, sustainability is rapidly gaining more and more importance. 10 years ago, I would say that we were not looking at green building certification. Today, more than 4 million square feet of our mall spaces and new office buildings are green LEED certified. By 2027, we expect this number to be in excess of 9 million square feet. This is for new buildings and recertification of old buildings, which will undergo an upgrade to meet sustainable standards. Next. A good amount of our power today, 30% of our energy requirements today are met from renewable sources. 10 years ago, this was at 0. And with the initiatives that Bhavesh, Gajendra have undertaken across geographies, I think by 2025, 70% of our energy requirement will be met by using renewable sources. Going beyond sustainability into CSR, we have been active supporters of Akar Charitable Trust, which has done an exceptional work in water deficient parts of the country. This is only one of the initiatives that we support. We also support other initiatives which are focused on education, which are focused on healthcare, animal care. But I want to draw attention to the significant impact that Akar has had within communities. In the last several years, Akar has built more than 600 check dams, impacted about 13 lakh lives, and improved the income and therefore the lifestyle and the quality of life, access to education in more than 820 villages. And we see this as being a significant initiative which can have huge impact across communities. Moving on.
Just one line on Akar. I think going back to that slide, I think it might have been 8 or 10 years ago that my mother started this trust, and she was wondering what should be the name. And she came up with Amla, Ashok Kumar, and Atul Ruya. And that's how the name Akar was created. It was just a fledgling then, but the kind of work that she's done, and this is under her leadership, and she's been able to actually, and Shilpa Srivastav has been actively involved in the last couple of years, but they've been able to actually build more than hundreds of dams every year. So, which is quite a remarkable achievement. In the last couple more so. Please continue.
Next, please. I'm going to request Rajesh to take over the presentation now. Rajesh, you don't have to stay with the brief of evolution of design and architecture. We also want to hear a little bit about the evolution of your team, yourself, and of course the design and architecture that you have delivered across these fantastic assets in the last several years. 17 years now, Rajesh.
Yes, Shishir. Thank you very much. 17 years since I joined. But before I start, a big hello to all the members of the Phoenix family. And what an amazing platform to connect with all of you. Thank you, Gautam. Especially for someone with stage fright, this is excellent. So, it's been 17 years since I joined. And one thing, Atul, you mentioned, Sanjay Vagaskar was, I think, one of the first guys I met. And between us, we sort of built that head office on the second floor. So that's the journey how it started with Sanjay Vagaskar. I would like to just touch upon that, we first built this wonderful 4 destinations in Kurla, in Pune, Viman Nagar, in Bangalore at ISML, and then the Chennai. I was at that time, of course, heading the design. And later on, I was also given to head the project's construction side. So if you can see on the slides, what we built earlier was, of course, there was a lot of passion, the plans, the layouts, everything. They were as good as what we built today. But we had to learn. We were learning, we were going, visiting, and we did a lot of that journey to learn continued even after we built our initial mall. So if you see earlier, foregrounds and all were nice, neat, but they probably did not have that wow experience. So if you go to the next slide, we decided that, we need to create a lot of foreground and arrival experience. So be it our Citadel, Indore, or the Lucknow, we decided to create a nice foreground. So add a lot of fountains. There's a certain walk. There's an arrival experience for the people. If you go to the next slide. Even if you see, it's a wonderful arrival experience at both these destinations. And yeah, we can move ahead. So even during the planning, we made sure that, the mall is set in a way that, there is good space in front and you don't feel rushed. You feel there's enough space to appreciate, the mall, the facade, and then you go in. When we did our initial malls, we did a lot of effort. We built, but the interiors was more of building so much of corridor space, railing, neutral piers. But later on, we realized that these are the spaces which are very, very important. They are not just a means to get to the retail, but that's the destination itself. People like walking, enjoying, relaxing. So if you go to the next slides, we then decided that, we need to create these amazing wow experiences. So if you see our malls, we created like vertical chandeliers, water features, amazing spaces. Even our skylights, what we did were, much superior in design. How we placed the escalators, how we connected the spaces together. Even if you go ahead in the next slides. So speaking a little bit on the theme, we felt that it's important to create a theme, and work on that. So for some of our malls, like the mall of Citadel, we created this theme based on Italy, the streets of Italy. So each of the 3 zones is based on one city, and the characteristics of the streets of that city are reflected in the interiors. So this project actually, was done by RK. He was also the architect for the Palacio. And when we had got that property, I remember Atul was saying that, Rajesh, but we bought this, but you don't need to. You can decide which architect you want and which consultants you want. But I met Rahul Kumar, and I found him to be a very amazing person, and very passionate of his work. And I know Atul also is equally passionate about design and architecture. And I convinced Atul that we must work with him, and he's going to do an amazing job. And Atul finally agreed, and the result is there for everyone to see. So if you go to the next slide, please. So this interior, this is the Mall of Asia. So Atul had taken us to see some malls in Bangkok, and we were very, very influenced by what was happening there. And then we realized that PIA is the architects who are working on these projects, who have worked on, delivered this
But
amazing
Rajesh, I
project.
want to come in here before you talk about PI and say that it was our own incredible team leader, Pallavi and Rushikesh, who came up with this amazing wall. They created this wall first. PI dressed it up, but the location was done by you and Rushikesh and Pallavi.
And you too, Atul.
Imagination of a 4-level feature wall.
Yes.
That credit cannot be taken away from the Phoenix team.
No, not at all. In fact, Atul, it was a very bold decision to lose visibility of the retail stores and create these walls. But I think that gamble has really paid off, and everyone is really, really appreciating this, and it's become the selfie point, where everyone wants to click their selfie. So
I
anyway,
can tell you that that Rahul Kumar has learned so much from Rajesh Kulkarni that actually the architect is Rajesh Kulkarni versus Rahul Kumar. It's your kindness and goodness to give him credit for the work he did.
No, but I mean, he may have learned and picked up from us on what works for a mall, no doubt. But I'm sure he's learned more from you, Atul. So this is basically another mall where, we followed the theme. I mean, as the designer said that, so it's more on nature. So each floor has a certain look and feel to it, derived from digital eco earth, aquatic reflection, which is more to do with water, morning glory, which is very, very refreshing, and abstract nature. So this is how, we constantly endeavor to try and do something different. But apart from these themes, there's more. So can we go to the next slide? So we also
I would again
realized,
come in here and say that really hats off to even the interior design team that I forgot to mention of Pallavi, and I think it was Pooja or Deepthi or both, and then later. Uh, this has really been a remarkable effort of all participants, including the team that worked on the interior design. And of course, Vagaskar and his team, Rohini and other members who have been able to deliver on this, because putting it in paper and then actually delivering it is so different. Earlier, I remember in our experience, the greatest problem was halfway in the project manager only used to leave the job. Then to make the next person understand the drawings and all is so difficult. But we are so delighted and grateful to our teams who've delivered on projects like this.
yes, and I'm coming to that also, Atul, as to how our concepts and what we've built matches. But to look at some of these things, the food court at the Mall of Millennium is completely done by Pallavi and our team. And even, the Oasis Mall of Asia and some of these other wonderful fan parks which you see there. Pallavi and our team, they really handheld PIA, and then made sure that their designs were translated in the right way, by Sanjay Vagaskar and his team. And of course, Sanjay and his team did put in all the efforts and their best foot forward to deliver these malls. And I must also credit the Pune team, who also did an amazing job. Dilip, for one, I must mention, who went and he helped us. Actually, the first amongst these new malls was the Lucknow one. And he went and took charge of all the interiors and he delivered an amazing interiors at Lucknow.
Yeah, and
So,
in addition, if I add on Pune, I mean, imagine, Rajesh, you added office buildings and you had to demolish half all the way to basement, build a new core and start coming out of the ground. So your team there had to do some Herculean engineering efforts.
yes. And I must appreciate Kotulwa for his expertise in doing that and executing it so well.
Absolutely.
The next.
I really like the direction this town hall is taking.
I must also thank Nandini for doing all this very, very detailed coordination to make that happen. So this is something, what I do and what we architects do actually. So there are sketches done by Pallavi and her team, the top right sketch is the sketch for the Reigns of Nourish. It's a very basic sketch, but which has translated into this very beautiful feature there, which has become one of the most attractive locations in the Mall of Millennium. And I see many people wanting to go and visit that and take their selfies there. The top left one is a sketch for Thane, and the below that is a sketch for the Palladium at Chennai, done by Ashok Babu. And the right side is the sketch which I had done for the Pune. So, yeah, we can go to the next slide. So yes, so this is like my role where while being an architect, Atul, you chose me also to head projects. And I remember when I joined the organization, I did not have to give an interview because there was no HR. Rather, I was given a presentation. I remember, I know Shishir had given me a presentation of what all they are wanting to build and the vision. And he said, Rajesh, you must join and become part of this team. But Shishir, you will also remember that finally, when I had to give an interview, because when Atul said, Rajesh, I want you to head the projects, Mr. Prakash Manti Pragada in Bangalore, he conducted an interview. And when I passed that interview, he said that, okay, I'm okay with you being the head of projects. So here there are slides on the left. We see the architectural architect's vision for this project. It has been touched up a little bit for the signages later, but on the right you see what is it that we have built, and even on below for Mall of Asia, that was the architect's impression. It was by RTKL, and this is how Sanjay has delivered the mall on the right. So full justice has been done to each and every aspect. So that means a lot of effort has gone into studying the drawings, understanding and getting contractors, talking to them, checking their shop drawings and identifying the material and making sure that everything is assembled together in the right way, in the right proportion to build this project. So hats off to the projects team for doing that. And I know Ashok Babu and his team has taken a lot of effort and done a lot of detailed coordination to achieve this. So here, while I head the organization, for the projects, we have a very nice architectural design and coordination team led by Ashok and Sachin. And of course, there are many, many talented architects working with them. Studio Phoenix is a vertical which is headed by Pallavi, where we do a lot of work in-house. It can be architecture, facade, design, or a lot of interior work. And as Atul says, that their work is really splendid and can match the work done by any international firm, I would say. We have budget and planning headed by Sambit. We have projects monitoring headed by Sanjay Chitekar. We have a contracts and procurement team, which is headed now by Shri Vikas. We have a MEP, which is the services, which is headed by Sadiq Diwan. We have of course, QA QC headed by Tarak Nath, the quality assurance and quality checking. We have the site teams, which are led by Sanjay Vagaskar, Daneshwar Kotalwar, Tanmay, and Kishore Bansod. I must mention that we have a safety team who looks after and continuously guides us, led by Mr. Apurva Maiti, extremely talented person. And we have the billing, which is headed by Manoj Kundur. And I thank each and every one of them and the teams, who have helped to successfully deliver all these projects. So we have completed a lot of projects in the last 4 years. We have completed the 5 malls, which Atul and me, we spoke about, but we have also will cover what we have done in some other verticals. We have now the Rise 2, the Rise 1 at HSP, which are retail, but also Rise 1 has offices above. Phoenix, Grand Victoria, Kolkata, and Surat are the next 2 in the pipeline. Work has started on the Kolkata project. These are the 2 new malls which we are building. And then, of course, there are some other ones, which is at Alipur, Kolkata, another site where we want to build a high street. We are doing extension to that existing mall at Whitefields, and of course, the new acquisition at Thane. Next. So we also have a commercial vertical, as all of us are aware. And in the last 3 years, we did a lot of office design work, but we also built the Tower 3 at Viman Nagar. And now we are building Rise 1. We are building the Mall of Millennium, the commercial building above that. And of course, at Mall of Asia, which we almost completed. Next. And not to mention, but our successful venture into residential. On the slide, you can see the left side is the Kesaku, which is uber luxury project which we have built. It's part of the One Bangalore West, which you see in the center. Below that is our, I think, one of our earlier residential projects. This was the residential which we built above the Chennai Mall. These are 3 towers actually, and we did extensive landscaping on top of the mall. And I must say that even after this extensive landscaping and swimming pool and everything that we have constructed there has been no leakage in the mall. And on the right, of course, is our new project at Kolkata. And of course, hospitality. So it was extremely, I must say, satisfying experience to work on the hotel projects because even I learned so much thanks to Atul, you and Shishir. And I remember all the trips that we did to all the various parts of the world to see what's happening all over and which are the best hotels. And then we built, I think, one which surpassed all of them. And what I like, Atul, is that we are still evolving, we are still building, we are still modifying. And
But
at one
Rajesh,
point,
if
we thought this is the best, but now we realize how much more there was to do.
if I
And we have
come in
achieved
here
that.
and say a few lines, I mean, of course, in the last couple of years, the projects team has done some amazing stuff with the St. Regis, Mumbai. But Varun Chibar is an incredible leader, and the entire team under him has, I mean, as the transformation of this hotels from getting the guest lifts up to the speed that was originally intended of 4 meters per second, or to delivering probably one of the highest top lines for any hotel in India, or close to, if not the highest, and definitely leaps and bounds above the business plan and leaps and bounds above our expectation, and mostly amazing guest delight. So I think this team also, 800 members or more, 1,000 members, is a remarkable team under a remarkable leader and a remarkable ex-com. So please continue.
But I must also say, Atul, that I must mention Gayatri and Sharmila ji, who also worked so hard on this project. I think they certainly deserve.
Absolutely, no
Big
doubt
thank you.
about that.
Yes.
Because the skeleton and bones are so strong.
Yeah. And now we are going to build the Grand Hyatt. So I think that's going to be another wonderful journey.
And again, here a very interesting thing, we have no architect on the Grand Hyatt. The architect is Ashok Babu, and of course Rajesh Kulkarni is the principal architect. I'm so happy that we are able to build a 5-star luxury hotel, and also the interior design has largely been done by our teams in-house. We've now hired an interior decorator, I will use the term, but the bulk of the interior design has also been done in-house.
So that's it. I would like to now hand over to Rashmi. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you. Thanks. So I think it's been quite inspiring for everyone so far, I'm sure, listening from Atul, from Shishir, from Rajesh, the geniusness of architecture, the extraordinary interior design, the strategy of going to the right cities, the location selection, the funding strategy. And I think there's been a lot of hard work and passion and vision going into all areas, resulting in what we have been building. And I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone once again. And I feel very proud to say this truly from the bottom of my heart, that we have the best retail team in the country. A young team, inspired team, very driven, passionate, agile, loyal. I mean, I can go on and on. And I think truly it's the love of each and every member. Sometimes, there are several members across functions, across locations, who may not get mentioned, but we know that it's all departments, it's all center directors, it's all excoms, it's everyone coming together who's doing that small thing with excellence every day. that is resulting in this, macro excellence that we see at a Phoenix Group level. So I'd like to start by extending a big thank you to everyone for all your big and small contributions on a daily basis. Next. I think Shishir took us through this journey, so I'm just going to be pretty quick on this one. I'll probably touch upon my own journey on this slide when I joined Phoenix in about 2010, when all the plans were on paper, and I've seen retail evolve in the country from that time. I remember, visiting the Tata's team, the Raheja's team, and everyone felt that India was not ready for a 1 million square feet. And it was very, very difficult to do the leasing at that point in time. And I remember Atul used to hold these workshops from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday. And, every Monday, the master plan used to change. And the leasing members used to be very confused that we did some brand meetings. Basis that plan, now the master plan has totally changed. Of course, some of those things don't change. We are still continuing to do the same thing. But it's interesting that I could realize even at that point in time that because, India has not seen this scale of retail, even for us, it was a new learning every day. So every meeting that everyone was getting together, there were some new learnings, and one was trying to improve upon that plan basis those new learnings. And I think it's been a pretty interesting journey from that time to today, where we have not only stabilized those assets. Clearly we've been the pioneers in opening 1 million square feet retail centers in India. We've had several other developers following after that and, sort of setting up their malls of similar size and stature. Not stature, but scale, I would say. And moving forward, we opened Chennai. There's an interesting story I must share on the Chennai project again. Chennai, we opened about, was it a 12-month gap, Shishir, between the Bangalore and Chennai, or little less maybe, right? 8-9 months about, Shishir?
Little over 12 months. We
Over
opened
12
over
months.
12 months.
2011 and Jan 2013
Yeah. So a little over 12 months, correct. So I recollect that we felt that we had to redo the complete leasing, and there were about 150 brands that were signed in that mall. And so we decided to go to each of those brands and cancel those deals and release the entire mall. And I think one thing that I must share is that our relationships are so strong with the retailers, and also the way the leasing teams handles the retailers, because something like this can be very, very challenging for someone else. And after we released the mall, we doubled the rental and we got the tenant mix, which was far, far more enhanced than what we were achieving earlier. And this asset continues to be one of our top rental paying assets all throughout. Then we moved on to Atul touched upon Palacio Lucknow. Even I remember Palacio Lucknow, the retailers mentioning to us that one, when they were ready to open and COVID hit, and B, even when we were opening the mall in the midst of COVID, I recollect the retailers coming to us and asking us, okay, we'll support whatever decision you take. I mean, it's the midst of COVID, but we will go with you guys and we'll support whatever decision you take. And all of them opened when we announced the date. And I think truly it's our retailers' partnership that is also instrumental in making Phoenix what it is today. And not just the leasing team, but I would say the marketing team, the center directors, the finance team, the legal team. It's everyone's interactions with the retailers for different functions that helps to strengthen this relationship on a daily basis. And, Rajesh has also touched upon the other openings after that. So we'll move on to the other slide. Yeah, one more thing I'd like to add here on the previous slide is that it's interesting how we've taken our 1 million square feet dominant destination centers now into tier 2 cities. And, that experiment has worked well for us, which has given us the confidence to expand it further into the newer untapped tier 2 cities. So this is what our portfolio looks like today. We have 11 million square feet across 13 operational retail malls. And I think I'd like to add one point here. It is that there's a lot of passion that has gone into building and leasing each one of this 11 million square feet that you see here put on the screen. And also, I think this 11 million square feet gives millions of different experiences to the 9 crore annual footfall that you can see on the screen. So it's really not about the square footage. It's about the heart. It's about the love. And it's about everyone coming together, the entire teams coming together who are creating magic at Phoenix malls on an everyday basis for all our customers who come to our mall. And I'm proud to share that we have over 3,500 stores across all our malls today. There are about 1,000 unique brands, and others would be repetitive brands who are present across several of our malls. We expect to close the year with an annual sales consumption of 11,500 crore, which is, the largest by far that anyone can imagine. And we have another 5 million square feet under planning, which includes both the new malls as well as the densification and expansion that we are doing of our existing malls. Next slide. Our performance across the last decade has been extremely strong, both on the consumption side as well as the retail rental side. And really, both of them work hand in hand, because you may lease a mall at a very high rental. But if, as an example, if the average occupancy cost of the mall has been 14-15%, and if the mall starts failing in terms of consumption, at some stage the retailers start coming back, asking for waivers. So I also want to compliment the operations team at the mall levels, who work hard and ensure that the malls get the right customer profile, the desired number of footfalls, and the sales we are seeking, because really the retail rentals and consumption, in my view, and the customer experience, all of them are interlinked to each other and go hand in hand. Next.
And also your marketing team.
Sorry?
I said also your marketing team.
Yes, of course. That's why I said customer experiences. Marketing is the one who's truly responsible for that. So these are the malls of the future that we've touched upon.
I
think it's been, sorry.
Sorry, please, after you. Please finish.
I think it's been a great, enjoyable journey for everyone who's been part of, building, leasing, opening these malls of the future. And it's something so special and enjoyable that it'll stay with everyone. Everyone feels part of all these centers, and it's really been a beautiful journey building these malls of the future. Yes, Atul.
I wanted to just add, I remember visiting the Bangalore Mall in 2011 on the opening day. And it felt like that mall had been there forever. It just felt like every customer just came in there and felt happy and looked happy on the first day. And the exact same thing happened at both of these malls that you have on the screen. I think when we went to the Pune Mall food court on day one, we were just amazed. It was full, and there were so many happy people, and it looked like this mall has been around forever, and everyone has been coming here every Sunday or every Saturday, and it was there. And the same with Mall of Asia. It was just buzzing on the first day. So really a remarkable job by Gajendra and Ritu with the way they handled the Mall of Asia opening and the entire team there. And similarly with Vikram Pai and Rajendra and all the people involved with operating and launching these malls. And of course, I should not forget the team that was back there then. Shashi in 2011 is back with us. He's just rejoined the company. Yesterday was his first day, or today. I'm so happy to have him on the team as well, but he had done a remarkable launch back in 2011. Please continue, Rashmi.
Yes, next slide. Next. I'll touch upon a bit on our group brand portfolios. I mentioned earlier that we have about 1,000 unique brands and 3,500 brand stores across all our malls. And I think one thing which makes Phoenix stand apart from other developers is our strong brand partnerships with all our brands. And this is just a glimpse to give you a perspective that, Reliance has this large portfolio of several brands bestseller, landmark. Next. Aditya Birla Apparel, Arvind Group. And it's interesting to see that through some of these groups alone, they are driving 40% annual consumption across all our malls. And, we are our preferred partners for all of them. In fact, I must share with you that we were recently invited by Zara CEO to their La Coruña office in Spain. And it was interesting to hear from them that we are their largest landlords in the world. And they were also very thrilled to share with us that the recent Zara upgraded store that opened, in that month, it was trading as one of the top 3 stores worldwide for them. And even though Zara is not expanding across the globe, they are restricting their expansion. But with us, they are wanting to open new stores, as well as they are wanting to add additional area and go into a full upgrade for all the existing stores. So this is reflective of the conviction and faith that these larger brand groups have in Phoenix. And I think that's a great competitive advantage for us. Next. I'd like to touch upon, I think the customer experience piece, and it's our mall teams at the ground level who are based at different locations, who are making a huge difference to the mall experiences and to the customer experiences on a daily basis, which primarily is what Rajesh said, the marketing team. And of course, all the operations team, everyone else that works with them, the center director, the senior center directors, the regional directors. And I think this is one thing that we have excelled in. We have a 365-day event calendar, which makes our mall stands apart from all the other centers. Next.
Sorry, I want to just say one line. It's almost as if Mayank, Lalpuria and Ritu are running very large event companies, conducting so many concerts across the year, across the cities. And they do a remarkable job. And another wonderful thing, we are now able to rotate the decor and to rotate the events with all the teams collaborating. So that collaboration also really pays rich dividend.
Correct. Next. I think these are some of the upcoming events over the next 2 weeks at some of our malls. Next. Decor is another very important component. I think all these seasonal decors that we do are so delightful for all the communities around our malls. And in fact, people drive from far off distances because they want to come and enjoy these beautiful decors that are put up at our malls. And it's just so delightful to look at the images, and we can only imagine that all the customers who are visiting the mall, and these are all the current Christmas images at some of our malls. Everyone can only imagine that all the customers who are coming to our malls during this Christmas time, how much joy and delight these malls are giving them. Next. I think in terms of some of the focus areas, for the new malls of the future that we've built, we decided to place a lot of emphasis on entertainment. So we've created these fan parks, even with Time Zone or Game Palacio or Fun City, etc. that we sign. We work closely with them to ensure that they do newer concepts which are more diverse and immersive in nature. Next. Again, I think the choice of tenant mix is the most important factor that distinguishes a dominant center from other centers. And full credit to our leasing teams in Phoenix, Manish Singh, Smita, Neha, Amit Arora, Vikas, Monil, Basil, everyone and all their teams. I think we have about a 65-member leasing team. Of course, under Mr. Atul Ruya's vision, I think leasing is very close to his heart, and he's very, very closely involved in the tenant mix planning. And I think the truth is that we spend a lot of time in getting our tenant mix right. And because we get our tenant mix right, our centers, not only getting the tenant mix right, I think this is a continuous exercise. We encourage the teams to continuously work on brand upgrades and brand changes in the malls. In fact, we are doing that exercise for both PMC Bangalore and Pune in a big way next year. For Mall of Asia, we have gone one level higher, and with the luxury brands that Manish and his team have added to this mall, I can say that this is going to be the best tenant mix mall in the country, and one of the best in Asia as well, not just in the country. Next. F&B is an important. I think I want to spend a minute on the subject of F&B. I think F&B plays a huge role in the success of malls today, and we all have to open up our minds and make way for the food revolution if we want our malls to succeed. Then F&B has to be the core theme going forward. And it's very important because if you look at the brand mix, we are bringing luxury brands, bridge to luxury brands. We have flagship stores of brands like Zara, and all these stores are attracting very affluent, very evolved customers, and they don't want to eat at QSRs. So I think F&B is one area which needs to be a core focus area for everyone in the next year. And we might want to increase the F&B areas in our malls, but more importantly, we definitely want to add a diverse mix of F&B, which is of a higher level and more experiential led rather than a QSR food led offering. Next. And I think finally, customer experience is the key, right from the time that, and we Indians are good. I think this is something that we are taught, not taught, but I think we learn from just seeing how our family members, our parents and others, elders are handling the guests who are coming. And I think this is a theme that has to be followed by everyone. It is not the job of the operations person or the center director. But I think everyone in the company offering the best customer experience, right from the arrival to every touch point in the mall till the customer leaves the mall. Providing the best customer experience has to be the core theme of every employee in the retail business. Next. And these are some of our upcoming malls in the pipeline, which Shishir briefly touched upon.
Would you go a little faster, Rashmi, because we are running out of time?
Yeah. Next. Yeah, I think Shishir has already covered this slide. Yes, and wonderful. I think the closing theme is let's grow together. And I'll hand over to Anurag now.
Thank you, Rashmi. Good evening, everyone. Truly a wonderful session. Thanks, Gautam, for initiating and putting this together. I think we had Atul and Shishir taking us through the evolution of the company. Rajesh sharing his insights on what goes into actually building an iconic destination. And Rashmi taking us through nitty-gritties of leasing and running a mall and what makes a mall a great place to be. Ultimately, all these leads to, in my view, one destination, which is numbers and finance. And that's where the finance team comes in. Let me take you through story of Phoenix in terms of numbers. I'm going to start, and this slide talks about our strong numbers performance over the last decade. As you can see, the excellence or our prowess in design, execution, delivery, and operations have led to these numbers, where our revenue has grown up 6 times, and so has the EBITDA. Our operational cash flow also grew about 11 times in the last decade or so. In terms of the operational and the leasing and the architectural excellence, converting into number, what gives us that as a strength is the operating free cash flows, where we don't have to depend on external bank borrowing or equity funding to expand in a big way. It gives us a lot of elbow room to do things the way we want to in the group. Moving on, how does it translate into cash flows? And we have, as various speakers has talked about, building the new projects largely out of equity and reducing debt. If you look at our biggest learning from the first cycle of development between 2000 to 11 was that growth should not be fueled by debt. And we have many examples in the economy and the country where people have taken excessive debts, a lot of real estate companies taking excessive debt. The leadership always felt that we should be in control of our destiny, be allowed to do what we need to do. And when you have a lot of lenders in the company, that sort of restricts your freedom, in my view. So we've been using equity in our projects, and we were able to minimize the interest costs because of this. We were able to secure ourselves against the rising interest rate cycles as we have seen in the past. The cash generated from our business, as well as fundraisers from equity infusions from our partners between 20 and 21, ably led by Shishir and Varun, have enabled us to construct new projects out of equity and reduce net debt level. At the same time, we have also cumulatively spent about 7,000 crores on our second phase of expansion, and we have also been focused on optimizing our debt levels. Progressively, if you look at the chart since March 20, when the COVID stuck and everybody was struggling from the debt and the lenders were sort of knocking at everybody's door, we have turned the problem on its head. And if you look at the slide, we have been able to reduce our interest costs from 9.19% to about 8.71% today. I think excellent job done by Prashant and team to reducing this cost of debt. And if you see the white line and the yellow line, they're merging to represent that, as against when RBI was raising interest rates from 4.4 to about 6.5. We were busy reducing our debt levels from debt cost from 9.19% to about 8.71%. It has also meant that our credit rating has improved. We used to be in A category and we have moved at the group level into AA category. And while we are in AA, our cost of borrowing is comparable to any AAA rated company in the country. So it's one of the lowest, the program is one of the lowest levels of rate for the borrowing of this size. As I said, our finance and treasury team's effort during these times have been commendable and helped us traverse these ups and downs to land up on top. Moving on. At the same time, if you look at this slide, the net debt levels of FY24 is our net debt position stands at about 2,100 crores, which is the second sort of column over there. And our EBITDA for next year is supposed to be around this number or even higher than this number. So in effect, it means that if we wanted to, we can be a zero debt company in a year's time if we wanted it to. But some level of debt is very positive for the company because we can expand and grow much forward. And if you look at our ratios, net debt EBITDA level of less than 1x, interest coverage ratio of greater than 5 is a very, very healthy balance sheet position. The financial stability, moving on to next slide, please. I think this slide sums it up very, very nicely. I think all the hard work and the market has recognized this. If you look at a market cap from March 12, which was about 2,900 or close to 3,000 crores, has grown up 14 times over last 10 years to about 40,700 crores. We have very successfully moved from a small cap company to at the higher end of mid cap companies. We come under top 200 companies in the country. And this story is not is half told unless you compare it with some of the what other players are doing. So if you look at Nifty Reality Index, during this period has grown up only 3 times. So our competition or our people who are in the same category have grown up to 3 times. We also take pride, or our story really is not, and that's what market is recognizing. Our story is not just a real estate player. It's also, we are also one of the biggest consumption centers in the country. We probably sell more cosmetics than the biggest player. We probably sell more garments than the biggest retailer, which Rashmi has highlighted. So the Nifty Consumption Index, which talks about all these companies together, has only grown by 5 times versus 14 times growth. And I think the finance and the treasury and banking team and the CorpFin team has ably supported the business to reach these heights. So thanks a lot, folks, for that. I think with our launch pipeline secured up to FY27, ramp up of new malls, new offices becoming operational, pick up in residential business, continued improvement in the hotels business, over and above our existing very, very strong and a market leader retail portfolio. I think we are poised to set new benchmarks for the company in the years ahead. And I think the best is yet to come.
No, I really want to also come in here and say that, it's the back office people in finance, accounts, the head of accounts, Lalit, and Prashant in treasury and banking, and Varun, Bhavesh. All these teams really have made so much contribution, so they don't get recognized all the time.
Thanks, Atul. Thanks for that recognition. So this was what I had to say. I'll pass it on to Gautam. Thanks, Gautam.
Hi, thanks, Anurag and Atul, Shishir, Rashmi, Rajesh for some very interesting facts around the organization. I think I'm also learning in the process, being a newbie in the organization, along with Hardeep, I would say. I'm youngest in this in the group we have today. So moving on to the next slide, I think we as a family, I think this is about you. I think we talked about finance, we talked about architecture, talked about business. I think it's time to talk about you. I think we as a business is growing, and as we are growing, we also seeing that our people are also growing. I mean, we have seen a 26% jump in the last 1 year. We added 4 malls in this in this period. So jump had been 1,601 employees to 2016. That's a significant jump for a company of our size. If I look at within one of our own business, Bellona, which is a F&B restaurant business, I think there's been fantastic growth there because it's a very people-intensive business. F&B hotels, they're very people-intensive. And there they had jumped 46%. They moved from 560 to 819. And number of outlets in also your Bellona has also jumped. And they're opening 12 more outlets in the next quarter. So there is a phenomenal growth happening with all the outlets opening in Mall of Asia, Mall of Millennium. I think there's a fantastic growth for everyone. And I think my next slide will talk a bit more about that. We also strengthened our leadership team. I think we actually alluded to this in the beginning. I think we have Hardeep who joined recently. I think he'll come on the stage very soon. So I think welcome Hardeep. Shashi has rejoined. I think that's his second innings. So I think welcome Shashi, wherever you are. I think a very warm welcome to you to strengthen our retail team. So moving on to the next slide. I think diversity and inclusion plays a very big role in the growth of a company. The research on the Harvard research says, and I'll just quote a number here, that in case you have a diverse and inclusive workforce, the entire productivity of the company can go up by almost like 1.3 to 1.5 times. And I'm glad to say that that we are fairly diverse, I would say, right? Both in terms of gender diversity, I think there's still room to grow, but I think we have done a conscious effort to hire at a certain level and gender. Secondly, is also an inclusive workforce, which is especially able, especially working in Ishara under the Bellona brand. I think it's a fantastic workforce which we have there, and some brilliant people who are working in those restaurants. 10% of our entire Bellona headcount, which is about 800 odd employees, 10% of those are actually people who are specially abled. And I think the huge kudos to Prashant Isar, who leads the entire team, to actually bring in that kind of talent, is not and to give them employment and to give them means of living and give them a very respectful job. I think I'm really proud to say that we have done a fantastic job there. If I look at middle management level, I think we are about 25% female population there. And we have a fairly young workforce. And if I look at the average age is about 34 years, and I think Shishir also mentioned toward the beginning that we also have a high tenure in leadership team, almost like 7.2 to 7.3 years, which shows that there's a lot of stability in the organization. As well as if I look at my entire population, my 30% of my workforce today is in the age group of about 21 to 30 years old. And which means that 30% of workforce across the company, 2,000 employees, are actually in the age group of 21 to 30, which means that our practices are what we do here today also has to be relevant to what they bring on the table. So it's very good to hear that. So moving on to the next slide. I think the growth story, I think Atul alluded to this in the beginning. I think as a company, as an organization, and as a culture, and which I've also observed, is that there's a lot of internal talent movements and growth. If I look at an entire 15% of employees getting promoted in the last performance cycle, this is a fairly, I would say, a higher number compared to industry. And having worked in various industries, I can safely say that this is one of the highest numbers I've seen. 15% of employees growing within a year's time. I think it's a fantastic movement. We have seen so we've seen promotion across levels. We have also grown people, and as Atul said in the beginning, that we put people in the chair, we take bets, and that's how the talent grows. And that's what we've done fairly well over the last 20 plus years. And we have some examples sitting here in the room itself. From a development perspective, some training has been imparted. We have embarked on a goal setting and a high performance culture, and you'll see more of it. There are some online learning which have been hosted, but you'll see more of it as we move along. So moving on to the next slide. I would really like to acknowledge two people here. I think they are our oldest employees in Phoenix family, and a big round of applause to both of them. I think Prabhu Dayal Jariwal, who's in finance, assistant manager finance, 35 years. So I think it's a great job. Ranjan Pandey, 28 years, fantastic. I think you've seen the entire journey of the organization. So I think well done, and kudos to you. And we'll have many more like you. In terms of our new people initiatives, I think one is that we have moved to a paternity leave. That means fathers, new fathers can spend about 7 days, within 6 months with their families. And we have more than 50 plus people who have taken that option, which is, I think, a good one to do. We have enhanced our medical cover. Again, this is for you. Long service award we have introduced, which is also a new one which we have done recently, which again, I think is something for you also to actually recognize you for time and years spent with the Phoenix family. And we really recognize your efforts. So moving to the next slide. Some of the new thing which is coming in, you would have seen some town hall you have seen today. So I think there's something which you have seen live. Phoenix Cares, I think we are very passionate about employee well-being and holistic wellness. This is just a beginning and a start. In Mumbai, we have started off with actually having a doctor on site who comes once in a week. And we are now doing this across all our sites and units. But I think you'll see more of this coming in, because I think there'll be more of spiritual wellness, some more of financial wellness, more of physical wellness. I think it's going to come onto your smartphone and desktop. I think you'll see more of it coming soon. ACE is about.
Sorry, please finish. Please, sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Yeah, so I was saying the last one which we are doing is ACE, and you would have seen this also in terms of hosting our entire goal setting process onto a digital platform, wherein the employees, you can actually put your goals on system, manager can approve. I think we've seen some fantastic progress in the last 3 weeks. We almost have about 65-70% of individual goals right now in system. That means I can see it on my phone, you can see it on the phone, and you'll see more of it coming in the future.
I just want to come in here. Just the wonderful initiatives, Gautam, and thank you for taking our HR in a new direction and more proactive direction with the teams. Of course, full credit to Haresh Morajkar, our previous CHRO, who's been with the company for many years and who's hired most of the people here. And so now it's great to see all these initiatives and wonderful. Please continue.
Great, thanks. And thanks to Haresh. I think we have built a fantastic organization. I think, and kudos to him and the entire team. Last one is around engagement. I think engagement plays a key role, and engagement is not only about doing activities, also about how engaged is an employee in doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. I think we have done a lot of celebration across the centers, whether it's Diwali, so now we have Christmas coming in. We had a Phoenix Premier League. Next slide. So we had a Phoenix Premier League here in the head office. I think a lot of our people played cricket, which I think was a very fun activity. It should happen before me, but I've heard very good things about that. So all this kind of stuff, I think just make sure that our employees also have some fun at work and also work. So I think the balance of both is very important. So that's it from my end. I will wrap up very quickly. I know that we're over on the time, but here I invite Hardeep, who's now going to be a quiz master. There are some questions which you had put to us. We have tried to shortlist and do, I think, a decent job of the questions. So over to you, Hardeep.
Thank you, everyone. It was so much of information overload. It's overwhelming, and the journey that Phoenix has taken. So it'll take some time for it to all to just kind of settle in. But in interest of time, I will quickly jump to the question. There's a long list, but I'll reduce it to 5 or 6 since we don't have time. The first one comes to you, Shishir. From the journey that you mentioned, from 70 people organization when you joined, and replacing the looms with the tables and chairs and the boundaries and the and the working tables and the hoods, and and exhausts, and which we still keep talking about every day for all our projects. So, I mean, you would have seen the evolution of culture, and how the company evolved, the culture evolved, and where we are going. We see what is happening now. But the evolution of the company with various businesses being added, it's going through its, process of changing the product and the adding the different product line and asset classes. It would be good to know from your perspective, how was that journey and how do you see it going in future?
So Hardeep, I think over the last several years, and I would say the last 2.5 decades, this organization, the way we work, our people culture, is completely, I would say, 180 degrees of where we were 20 years ago. And we continue to evolve, right? So I would say that as we grow, our goals culturally will be to evolve, to be more diverse gender wise, generational wise. We want to be more agile, enabling faster decision making, less hierarchical, move to a digital transformation in the way we operate. Empowerment is key. And to empower people, grooming and developing leaders from within the organization, as Atul mentioned, has been a key theme for us in the last few years and will continue to be a key theme going ahead. The ACE initiative that Gautam showed in as one of his last slides, it's not just about goal setting and performance assessment, it's about career development. So through the ACE initiative, we intend to identify talent best suited for the best role and identify leaders who can be groomed, trained to take leadership positions as per their career aspirations. So I would say for this next year, we would like to focus a little bit more on smart, goal-oriented and objective approach to strengthen individuals' performance and to identify areas of improvement so that we can focus and enable our teams accordingly. Again, I come back to the same point. We take great pride in grooming talent internally, and our leadership team is testimony to that philosophy, and we will focus more on that going forward.
Hardeep, I have a question for you.
Sir, please.
This is a surprise question since it was not part of your question set. How do you find your commercial office team and the offices we are building since it's a new vertical? What are your observations? You can be very candid and very frank.
Yeah, I know. I remember this interaction with you the first day I joined, and that was your clear direction to me and some of the other recent joinees when we met you that evening, that you want us to be all transparent and open and not restrict ourselves and our views. So that was great. I mean, and we have been working like that. In terms of the team, I think the team is very dedicated, Atul. I mean, it's just a very committed team. They all know their product. They know their business pretty well. The way they manage the tenants, the existing and the new ones. Never lose sight of what our final goal is, but and still, with all obviously, some of our assets have their own set of nuances which we need to manage and handle. And the way it is actually managed by the entire team is very, very good. So for me, it's been a good learning also. It's a different product class for me from within the office space also. So it's great learning. And the team, there are a few new joinees, there are a lot of old people who actually are working together very well, they're gelling very well. And the new assets that we are putting. And one of the things which I think I mentioned to you earlier also, which is a big surprise package, and it was probably on my own mindset than anything else. The level of transparency, openness, and the support we get from all, functions, whether it is Rajesh Kulkarni's team, whether it's Sachin Patkar, whether it's Pallavi, Nandini, Gajendra, or Mr. Kotalwar, or whoever, we reach out to. Everybody is so supportive and so helpful when we tell them, this is what we need, this is what we are aiming for. They all just are always supportive and say, okay, let's see how we can find a solution for you for this, which is, I think, an amazing quality and amazing culture that has been built. So kudos to all the people, yourself, Shishir, and whoever have built this organization on that culture. So it's been amazing so far. Atul, very, I mean, I've learned a lot, and personally and professionally also.
Thank you, Hardeep. Please continue with your question.
Yeah. I have one for you, but I'll come to you last because that will also tie in with the closing remarks.
Sorry, please, if you don't mind, just take it now only, Hardeep.
Okay.
I have something else.
Okay, this is the one which came for you. Is what are the core values of organization, the way you see Phoenix family, and how do you see that this company's core values never change, and they are reflected in our day-to-day lives, and enriching not only the company as a whole, but also the people who are part of the Phoenix family.
No, so I like the question was a surprise question for you. This is also a surprise question for me. So I've not given it any thought. But I would say at the foundation of it all, the core ethics of ethical behavior, integrity, loyalty, for actually the foundation and transparency. So I think all our decisions have to have that layer of ethical, an aspect that is this the correct ethical decision. I think making money is a byproduct of doing the right thing, focusing on the best quality, focusing on the best design, focusing on the best practice, putting in place the best SOP, believing in ourselves, believing in our team members, believing in our country, believing in our great India. I think all of these are our company's ethics, are our company's principles. And I said ethics several times, so I guess ethics has to become probably one of the most important features.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you. Okay. Next one is either for Rashmi or Rajesh. You guys take it because this is like, it is similar to my own personal physical growth. Like my wife kept telling me that, you're growing in all directions like a piece of ginger. So it's the same as, adrak ki tarah phail rahe ho types, So it's like the same footprint that you all are creating across India for all our, the footprint that we're creating of, I mean, I saw the map and, there's so many pointers there as to where we all are. Yeah, the way it is growing and so many new malls coming up. So in terms of leveraging the new trends and the new experience, how do you intend to maintain your position of leadership as the largest mixed use led retail developer in the country?
You want to go on this, Rashmi, or you want me to?
Yeah, sure.
Should both speak about it, Rajesh and Rashmi.
Yeah, so I'll touch on one or two aspects I'll touch upon. I think to sort of ensure this long-term competitive advantage in terms of being the leader in this space, one of the core focus areas is something that we practice, which is our brand relationships. And I'll share one interesting thing with the group. I remember the first day that I had joined Phoenix. Atul mentioned about my, having participated in that leasing Indore mall, in 2010. And I remember Manish Kalani was there and he called me for a meeting. And he asked me, Rashmi, how many brands do you think you can very comfortably lease without any effort in this mall? And the number I gave him that day was 100. Because I was coming from a mall company where I had recently leased, and I knew that there were about 100 brands between international and national of repute that you could lease. So in today's time, one is, I think, for us to lease Hardeep, to a good tenant mix, which is wholesome in terms of all category offerings, because you have fashion, you have footwear, you have cosmetics, you have jewelry, you have, I mean, the list can go on, and then you have F&B, you have entertainment. I think we can comfortably say that there are about 700-800 or even 1,000 brands of repute that we can bring to a mall today. And like I mentioned earlier, some of the brands don't want to sign with others. They only want to sign with Phoenix. I gave an example of Zara. So I think one of our competitive advantages is these brand relationships that we build, because we've proven with them time and again that the way we build off extraordinary architecture, interior ID, scale, the way we do our tenant mix, and the way we are running our malls, we've proven time and again that they know that their partnership with us is going to be successful. And then we have to be at it every day. I mean, every day is a new day. And like I say, at a mall, there are new opportunities and challenges that come every day. You have to be at it on an everyday basis, and you have to keep evolving yourself. What worked yesterday will not work tomorrow.
Rajesh, you.
So the thing is that, we've built now starting from 1, 2 to 14 malls, so what we did is like, we need some good process when we are expanding. So what we tried to do was we saw which are the plans which work the best, and we made 2, 3 stencils. And we are hoping to tell the business development that, you please buy land on which this stencil can work. But they go and buy, every time different parcels of land in different shapes with new challenges every time. So then we are forced to evolve. We're forced to design. We're forced to think again new how to.
You are tested every time.
How to still make it interesting. And then our other challenge comes from our leasing, because they are our true clients. Every time, like, they're getting such more and more varied retailers with their demands, and I can understand fully, because they are also evolving, they are also growing. So we have to be flexible, we have to accommodate and constantly. And this is not only about design, but it's also about MEP, it's also about structure. It's also about, making sure we are still within our budgets and our timelines. And so I think it's a whole team effort, that, it keeps us, because the industry is evolving, because of everyone's cooperation, we, I think, are constantly taking up the challenge and trying to do something more.
It is very evident. Your labor of love, we saw the whole set of them. It's unbelievable. Some of the stuff that you guys have developed, it's unbelievable. Really, yeah. These are like landmarks, monuments in their own right. So yeah, kudos to all of you. I mean, great.
Thanks. But it's also like, the good fortune that I landed up working in a company like Phoenix, where I got the opportunity to, participate and drive also to a large extent and deliver.
Of course, we all are lucky in that sense. So touch wood for that. So, okay, next one for you, Anurag. Right. This is more on the, how do we make it more efficient from processes point of view? We are using Yardi. We spoke about it. We've been speaking about it. We're using Yardi partially. And what are your plans to actually enhancing that online, making most of the decision making and process more online driven rather than and eliminating a lot of paperwork and the time taken from offline processes? So what are some thoughts, and how do we make it simpler and easier on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, thanks, Hardeep. I think when I had joined about 2 years ago, I think one of the first projects which Shishir talked about was that we don't have a single ERP which binds or which knits together the company. We have Yardi upfront in retail, and they use it extensively, while most of the other parts of the organization are not even on an ERP. So we went about evaluating, I think we evaluated 3 or 4 ERPs at that point of time. And we came to a conclusion that, we evaluated SAP very, very deeply. We evaluated some of the other softwares as well. And we came to a conclusion that Yardi is a specialist, or is a ERP developed for retail leasing, commercial leasing, retail leasing, etc. So there's a lot of advantage of, and a large part of the front end of the company was using Yardi. So that was our first step, saying that, okay, large part of the company is using Yardi for leasing, etc. How do we start getting on board the other parts of the company on the platform, so that the manual labor which is right now required to, let's say, keep on sending information to corporate office because somebody is asking a report in one format, other function is asking in another format. We need a deck for which needs to be sent out monthly, and then suddenly we need a deck which needs to be sent out to JV partners. We need so a lot of manual sort of repetition of work, etc. We also had a situation where, and some of it still continues, where we have a lot of these manual documents. For example, we still write vouchers by hand. We spend a lot of time in doing that. We submit expense statements still by hand. We have a lot of these thick bunches of paper traveling between a location and to corporate, or to, let's say, for approval of individual business leaders like yourself or Rajesh or Rashmi. There's usually thick bunches of paper which keep on traveling. I think the idea of ERD implementation was, how do we sort of do away with all these and move to a very cutting edge sort of a technological solution for all these. So few things we have done. We started with the HO team, HO Finance and Accounts. We merged, or we adopted Yardi and started merging the operations between the front end finance team and the leasing team, which was on Yardi, to the back end team, which was handling project payments and which was handling some of the other HO expenditure. We have got I think we have not even scratched the surface as yet. I think Yardi will make life easy for the corporate folks, and we are doing a couple of other projects as well around Yardi to make sure that we are reporting our financials within 30 days and we are closing books on time, etc. I think once it settles down, the next challenge is how do we knit the other parts of the company together. We have had some discussion with Rajesh and team on saying that how can projects team and how can the procurement and contracting and project monitoring move to Yardi. And as we go along, then we start integrating other parts of the organization. I think it's going to be some journey to do this, because it's a big change management exercise. People are used to doing this in a particular way. And as and when you do a change management exercise, initially it's very painful, but eventually you start seeing the benefits. So I think once we close March this year, when HO accounts would have completely moved to Yardi and integrated with the retail team, I think the next year agenda should be on how do we move other parts of the organization to Yardi. And that's the sort of a journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Anurag. I have two last questions, one for Gautam and then last one for Shishir and his closing remarks. So, Gautam, obviously this is the one which has actually been, I think you have been overwhelmed by this. So I'm going to ask you now, and this is like at the deep end of the pool. One is, so these are two questions combined into one. One is in terms of leadership development, what quality do you think for our future leaders are key? And number two is the work-life balance, for the employees of the organization as it grows and the workload grows, and also what are the plans on that?
Right. Thanks, Hadi, for that. I think a very interesting question on leadership development and as well as work-life balance, and both very close to my heart. I think leadership development, I think it's more about, as what I heard you saying, is more about future leaders and what we need to build. I strongly believe that I think there are two parts to it. One part is how do we identify it, but first we need to know what we need to identify. I think I see it as that today's leader and tomorrow's leader have to be very humane leadership style. I think it needs to be very human centric, and I think COVID pandemic has taught us that we need to be more connected to our teams, more connected to our people. And I see there are actually three parts to it. One is that we need to be authentic in our approach, that means authentic with the teams. And the second is that a lot of empathy. And this empathy is key to success of the team and the organization, that how well are we connected to the team and our people, and how well are we able to manage. And I think empathy is all about, it's about coaching, knowing the people, knowing the team, how do you handle situations, conflicts, and how well are you connected to the heart level. Not just I know that we work with the teams at a task level, but I think even if you spend half an hour with the teams to spend and knowing more about them and what's happening in their life, I think that is really going to benefit the organization, the leader, and the employee, and would lead to a longer tenure of that employee. The third part is being adaptable, because with the changes which are happening all across the globe and the world, especially after post-COVID and pandemic, I think adaptability is a key. We just cannot keep functioning the same way we have been functioning for over the years, right? A company changes, evolves. We as a company also are evolving and we are changing. And we've seen growth of a company from just a mall to now we have commercial, we have hotels, we have F&B, and we have residences. So I think everything needs to change. So I think a leader has to be very adaptable. And these skills is what we have to identify, first of all, and then we develop. And this can happen through various things. We can have mentorship, coaching, continuous feedback culture. We don't have to wait for annual appraisal to happen. I think it needs to be ongoing. I think even if you spend about half an hour with a person once in a month and provide that coaching and feedback, I think more about coaching and feedback and asking the right questions, you will lead to I think it will lead to a responsible solution and a response to that. And that will build a strong leadership pipeline for our organization, especially the young leaders who have just stepped into the role as a first-time managers. And they have maybe they have a 15, 20 years kind of a window for them to take on the top role. I think that's what will help. And I think this is something which we will be embarking on very soon. I think this is all work in progress as we speak. I think a lot of effort will go into to actually identify our top talent, to identify the right skills, how to identify them and how to groom them. The second part is about, I think I'll flip to the second question, which is on work-life balance. I think as an organization, we believe that we have to provide work-life balance to our people. It's very important because the kind of aggressive growth we have seen, I think is imperative that we also provide that balance to our people so that they can spend time with their family, with their own self. I think what we have done is that one is that overall work-life balance can mean many things. It can mean health and wellness. I think we have embarked on the journey. I think they will be there. Secondly, also flexible work guidelines. I think sometime back we had announced, I think a few years back, and again we have announced that there's a flexible work guideline and people can choose what time they come into office. In the initial hours, I think they have a 3 hours window when they can come in and they can punch out, and they can actually mitigate the rush, so the morning traffic, evening traffic, time they drop their kids and so on and so forth. I think that is a flexibility which we have provided. And the second is also the work from home opportunities for people who are especially working on the working Saturdays. I think I will also allude to that fact that we do have a 6 days a week, and we do understand there are two Saturdays in which you're working, second and fourth. I think we have given that opportunities to our leaders, head of department to give the option to our employees based on the work requirements. And obviously the operations and retail have to work in a particular order, and that has to be managed at the retail because retail operation is actually a 7 days job. So it's not, we don't have a mall that is shut over the weekend, and there's more work happening on the weekend and more footfall happening. So we'll have to manage that bit but we have provided that kind of opportunity to our operational flexibility also. And there could be more things coming up in the future, but I think it's also about how do we manage our work-life integration, I would say, right? Even if you're home, you're working, right? At times you are at work and you're also working. You're at work, but you're also doing some work for home, right? So I think I think work life is good, but a larger set, I think all about how you manage yourself and how you manage your work-life integration. I think there's flexibility. And I think there's time, maybe there's a time to republish some of our policies which we have so that we are more aware of it. And I will also urge all my leaders to also see how best we can manage that. Thanks, Hardeep.
Thank you, Gautam. So now two questions for you, Shishir. One is a tough one is the easy one. Which one you want first?
I don't want no tough questions.
I can't help it. People have asked for it, so I
might just flip that back on you. But
no, it is beyond my pay grade. I can't answer this one.
Let's go with the tough one.
Tough one is ये कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? Can you tell me? This is the tough one. Another easy one for you. Well, people are waiting for the answer, Shishir. You, MD of the company.
I have to watch the movie again.
Okay, the easy one for you now is in terms of the hotel growth plans and vision for the hotel business, and where do you see it going? And what are the plans for that? And of course, then closing remarks from you.
Sure, of course. I think the teams have understood from our presentation that we look at creating new city center hubs, right? So In fact, if you look at every large mixed-use development that we have built, has become the focal point of a city within the city. So we look at a city like Mumbai, there are many hubs, Lower Parel being one, Kurla being one, right? As part of these mixed-use developments, retail has always been our, I would say, anchor to a large mixed-use development. And then we add other asset classes depending on the demand at that location. And over the years, as that neighborhood gets uplifted, we can contemplate adding higher class of assets, such as, let's say, a 5-star luxury hotel, which uplifts the entire neighborhood. So we don't have plans for standalone hotel properties as of now. We continue to focus on creating these large mixed-use developments. Bangalore, for one, our location, our original mall location at Whitefield Road has now evolved to a point where it's ready for a hotel, a 5-star luxury, social and events focused hotel. And that's what we're building there right now. We've signed up with Hyatt for the Grand Hyatt brand exclusively for the city. But again, as we acquire more land parcels, the opportunities would be there. Thane, for one, as an example, is a market which does not have great hotels. And for our new acquisition, we are evaluating whether we would like to have a hotel as part of that mixed-use development. Today, the future of hotels in this country looks very bright. Our own experience with the 2 properties that we own, the St. Regis Mumbai and the Courtyard by Marriott Agra, and of course the small hotel, design hotel in Chennai, are all really performing well. We have a great team in the hotels business as well. And I think it's going to be opportunistic. Our expansion into more hotels is going to be opportunistic and depending on the locations where we are.
Okay. Right.
If I may take us through the closing remarks.
Please, thank you.
I would like to start by saying that, start the closing by saying that 2023 has been really a landmark year for our company. We've delivered on many, many promises with flair. We've hit high notes in performance across all verticals, and we continue to diligently work towards an inspiring future. We continue to put our heads down and work tirelessly to add to the bouquet of offerings by adding consumption centers, new city center locations, and this will chart our growth plan even beyond 2027. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and thanks to every member of the board, every colleague of ours, every team member and employee who have been part of this business and contributed in many, many ways to our success. Your support and involvement has been invaluable to our story. And without you, translating this vision into reality would have been impossible. And wishing you all the best for another year of growth, collaboration, and prosperity. Wish you a very, very happy new year. We may not get an opportunity to meet many people before the end of this year. So wish you all a very, very happy new year and all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank you.
Great initiative, Gautam. Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to thank on behalf of everyone. Well, I think it's great interaction and great to learn about the company as a whole. Gautam, over to you.
Thanks, everyone. I think fantastic. I think good to get the entire leadership together under one roof, I would say, and bring all the employees closer to each one of us. I think I have learned a lot from all of you in terms of retail business, finance, financial strength, architecture, a lot of interesting anecdotes about Indore and stuff, which I had not known. And I think I'm also learning in the process. And that's what makes it a family, that we are so close to each other, that there are so many stories to share and tell. And I think as we do more town halls, I'm sure there'll be more stories will come up, and this is what will connect people together. I think I'm showing gratitude to all of you for being here in person. And I know we have overrun the time, so do appreciate your time away from busy schedule. I think our people would really appreciate the fact that you have spent collectively, I mean, almost like 2 hours with them. And I'd also like to appreciate and a deep gratitude to all our people who have worked very hard to build this company. And a big thank you to each one of them for being here today and listening to our leadership team. And as we grow bigger and bigger, I think we'll take our people along. Really many more such sessions we'll organize. But thank you very much once again, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very, very happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same.